Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Tuesday, April the 27th. The year is 2021. Let's talk trading. See versus look for, part 2 with Walmal. One thing I want you to see is this disclaimer. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and from Walmal's. Walmal, as usual, at 15 minutes ran out yesterday, so where were we?
We were just going over, I think, just defining what the difference was between the two of them, and I think that's really what we covered, and maybe we got into a little bit about how we go and start to try to execute that or implement it, and just for a recap, what I was saying is, seeing is literally you're looking at your charts and you're seeing what price is doing. And based on what you're seeing price doing, you make a decision what you're going to do. Whereas look for, you're sitting there and like I know you like to go and use that idea of, are you going and manufacturing a trade? And you start looking everywhere and you start looking for a trade. I don't need to look for a trade. Trades come often enough that I don't need to be looking for a trade. I just need to go and see the trade develop and then make sure that I take the trade when it does develop. And if I miss the trade, don't jump in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, on the examples of seeing, that's how I came up with the rat zone, was when I had I was looking at the pound dollar, and I was looking at the daily chart, and I just put it up on the screen. And what I saw was that these wicks were big. And it made me think that there could be something there, and that caused me to write the frequency distribution for high minus close and close minus low, and that's when I came up with the rat zone. But on the chart now, I've got that new or the latest version of TRO HL5, where I put in the highest low and lowest high along with the highest and lowest close. And so I've got this on the chart with the area above the lowest high shaded and the area below the lowest high shaded. And it's almost what those order block guys do. So if you look at this chart and those order blocks, that's what caused me to write this indicator. Or another one, and this is just the HL5 version of it. Because they kept showing this is an order block and this is an order block. I go, well, when you do the order block, it's like you're basically taking the going from the high of that last bearish candle. And so I thought, well, what if you just did the lowest high and the highest low and trade from that zone? And you can see here how successful that would be. So for example, here the lowest high on the daily, when I'm just looking back 24 days here, was 6 days ago. And you can see yesterday that candle just pushed in there and then it came back down. And then for this where it says D1 here on the chart, I also have a second indicator where I believe I'm going back 1 day. So I've got the, this is the one that puts up the blue one. Let's see, that's just the current 1 day. And then the other one is the HL5 that I modified here. So, and I'll be posting this probably soon. Just want to test it a little bit more, where you have the show highest close, lowest close, and highest low, lowest high. I set those to true. And then down here, I just use 24 bars. But the nice thing is, of course, you can take this down to H1, and you can see that happen again. 2 hours ago, we had the highest low, and then this hour opened above it. And then you can see here at 39.03 went below it. And so there was pips to be had there. And it's something simple, but it was just something that I saw. I didn't look for it, and there's a big difference.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's just you seeing what's happening with price, and because you're paying attention and seeing what's happening in price, you can take advantage of it, and that's the nice thing about this. I really love that new change that you've made to the HL5, and I love it really on the H1 chart, because I think it just becomes so apparent as to what price does, and I don't. Most of the folks out there know I don't like to trade against the H1 candle color. Well,
Oh, you do that every hour. I'm going to bust you. Because you like those DSR trades. Come on now.
Now on DSR trades, you're right, but on the Walmal trades, I don't like to do it.
Right.
In fact, you can't do it. But and let's be honest about it, that's my bread and butter. That's where I make. That's where I go and put the money in the bank, is on that trade. But what I love about this is that, again, with this type of method, you can't trade against the H1 candle color. And the nice thing about it is you can flip up to the H4, and just go up one time frame. Hey, am I fighting the H4? And so if you go and look and say, hey, right now, with this, or at least at the beginning of this hour, when it broke out of that top zone that you have up there, it was so obvious to go short on that. So I flip over to my H4, and it's like, I'm in the middle of the area, halfway between the two. Okay, I don't have a problem with going and taking a short on that. My H4 is red. I'm not in the zone any place. That's an easy peasy type trade to go and take. And if I would have taken that trade just at the break of that, could have been worth 10 pips right now. It would have been worth 10 pips. Now I'm thinking, okay, if it breaks this line here, it's going to break the previous hour low. Or do I stay? And so now it becomes a judgment as to what I actually do here. And I think what I do is I stick around for a little bit and see, and see if it breaks enough. Mine just broke, and we'll see where it goes from here. And that's what I love about this new thing. But again, bring it back to the topic of the video. What you're doing is you're trading what you're seeing. You're not looking for a trade. You going and just trading what you see, and just by putting this simple little thing, and the thing that's nice about this is that, it's simple line trades, because that's all this is. Yeah, it's a shaded box, and at the end of the day, each box is two lines, so it's a line trade. And so, once again, these line trades, they're so simple. They really are. And so what it comes down to is, what you need to do is you got to get your money management in place, you got to get your trade management in place, and you got to get your psycho management in place. I'm calling it psycho. You call it brain management. But you got to get your brain in place. And if you go and do those three things, it's hard. It'd be hard to go and lose money on this. Now, sure, you're going to have losing trades, but what you're doing is you're trading what you see. You're seeing the market do something, you take action on it, you execute it, you implement it. And that's all you got to do. But again, if you don't have your trade management and your money management, and your brain management in place, you don't have those things working right, I don't care what you got the greatest system in the world. You can literally have a system that works 100% of the time and lose money, if you don't have those three things in place.
Exactly. Yeah, and the other thing is, when you see something, you just basically say, well, this is what I see, but you don't color it with your concepts. So, for example, I just see a price hitting the line here, so I'm going to go short. I don't say, well, it's breaking resistance, or it's breaking support, or it's it's going with the trend, because all those things are conceptual. But any number of traders looking at the chart, this same chart, are going to say, okay, yeah, well, that's where the indicator drew the horizontal line, so that's pretty much the highest low right there. And even without the indicator, you can look back so many bars and see this is the highest low. You can just put your crosshairs right there. And you go, okay, well, that's the highest low. It's breaking that. So, for you structure traders, that's one of the things you're going to be looking for, is for that to happen. But in this case, it's just right there. And it's easy to see it. It's like you don't have to really look for it. Because, for example, when I say about, are you looking for a trade? It's when you start to go, well, and start to look at all these candles and all these patterns and go, well, I think it's this pattern, because you just want to go long or something. Like right now, you might be thinking, I want to go long, I want to go long. And so you'll go and try to find some reason to go long. But when I'm looking here at the candle color multimeter, I'm seeing red from D1 all the way down. It'd be kind of hard to want to go long right now. It's like if the only reason, to go long might be if you wanted to put a hedge on this short or something.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, and sometimes, I've done that where, even though I'm in money right now and I can't trade for the next 15, 20 minutes, so I've done that where I've just put a hedge in there. That way I know I'm locked in with whatever profit I have until I can come back to the desk. I really don't do that, but it's something I have done. I have to admit I have done it, and it's a tool in your toolbox, and I certainly don't recommend that for anybody that's a new trader, because getting into hedging like that can get you into a bunch of trouble, if you're not doing it right, because you could sit there and literally hedge yourself into bankruptcy. But at the same time, it's one of those tools that you do have available to you.
So right now might be an opportunity if you were inclined to go long, because I just flipped over to the M1 chart, and you can see the lowest high was just out of the last 24 bars was just made, and prices crossing above it. And so I don't even think I have a chart up here with the 3-level ZZ on it at the moment. Oh, there was something else I wanted to show the traders out there. I added the pivot trading plan indicator to the chart. I was thinking, why didn't I do that, years ago? I think I might have shown it years ago, but for some reason I didn't put it on the chart. And it's in the TRO build 1300 or 1200, whatever file you have, the TRO pivot trading plan, which is a trading plan that somebody else wrote, and I just implemented the code for it here in MT4. So for example, what this is telling us today is if price is near R1 or near the pivot, the bias is short. If it's near S1, the bias is long. And you can see right down here, it hit S1 at 38.63.7 and actually broke below it, and then it took off like a rocket. So for pivot traders, this is something you might want to consider to add to your toolbox.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's just one of those things where it's so simple, it's just such a simple little tool, and it's, your trading this is, I haven't developed a method around this. Is actually this morning's the first time I've really looked at the tool, but I could see this being a very, very useful tool in terms of my trading. And I can even see looking at this and lining it up with the Walmal trade, and I know that's, what that can do for me is like, hey, this is a Walmal trade I should take, or this one is one that's, let me just beg off of this one for a little bit, because, for whatever reason, I'm going to have to go and blow these zones out in order to go and do that, and it may not be a wise thing to do. But, at the same time, you could just trade off of this, and you wouldn't even need that. You could just go and use this and trade off of it, and just use 1 hour opens and just say, that's just what I'm going to do, and are you going to win every time? Nope. It's not possible. But at the same time, it just, it's so obvious that you can make so much. I mean, if you would have taken this at the beginning of the hour, just actually even look at the previous hour. The previous hour, you had a potential of picking up, 10 pips. This hour, you had a potential of picking up, potential of 16 pips. The previous hour before that one, you could have picked up, oh gosh, a ton of pips. I don't even know how many.
Yeah,
it's too big fit on my screen.
Yeah,
you could pick up 30 pips.
Yeah, well, we're just about out of time once again. So, fellow traders, I hope that helps. So you definitely have to see what's in front of you, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.